Welcome to today's edition of the AI Eye, watching stock news, deal tracker, and advancements in artificial intelligence. Hey folks, this is your host Sam Mowers. We've got a special edition of the AI Eye today featuring an interview with Dr. Danny Rittman, the CTO of Gopher Protocol, Inc. Gopher is a development stage company developing Internet of Things and artificial intelligence-enabled mobile technology. Gopher is traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol GOPH. So in this interview, I talked to Danny Rittman about a recently published technology review that he published for the company. That review will be linked to on the article page for this interview. Danny, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today with you guys.
So to start off, could you tell listeners about the Gopher Insight microchip, which the review identifies as making up part of the core of the company's technology?
Yes, Gopher Insight is an internal code name for Gopher Protocol R&D. This is an advanced technology for manufacturing, which basically provides a very low power consumption with a very higher possibilities to put more advanced circuitry on the chip. Of course, it also goes with higher cost of manufacturing, but again, talking about quantities of millions of this microchip, it's going to be definitely worth it. Another, of course, advantage is the size. Okay, we're going to get a much smaller microchip, much lower power consumption, and much higher performance, and better capabilities when it comes to actually running advanced circuitry. If we talk a little bit now about the actual functionality of the microchip itself, as before, as we actually started the microchip discussion a few years ago, the microchip targets to include many circuits. So we always compare the microchip to a closet with many drawers. Each drawer does different functions. One of them is the microprocessing unit, which is supposed to give some mathematics and computation power. Another one is the radio unit, which the radio unit is target to actually work on its own to communicate with each other via this radio unit. Another unit is the memory and so forth. So the highlight of the Gopher Insight microchip is that each microchip is communicating with the same microchip, on any other device. So due to a small size, assuming you're going to put it on a SIM card, today many phones offer double SIM, or even on a device motherboard itself, or even, of course, on IoT device, target today for IoT devices. It can be sensors, it can be autonomous cars, it can be anything that can be activated as IoT. On each IoT device, if we have this, or mobile device, if we have this microchip, they will communicate between themselves via their own private secured protocol, which will enable enormous capabilities when it comes to IoT and mobile technology.
Talk a bit about Avant's competitive features and how it's targeted to manage the company's communication, security, and database arenas.
Well, as we progress for the past year or so with the actual, our database management system, we have a unique database management, which, by the way, we filed the patent. Now we are in the process of filing international patent for the database management. I believe the company will announce it in the next few weeks or the next few months on the press releases. So this database management, especially when it comes to a vast database, we are going to handle it, a huge amount of data, all going to be targeted and managed by the Gopher Insight microchip and, of course, the accompanying software that goes along with it. We definitely decided to develop our own AI engine for a variety of topics. One of them is handling, for example, database. You mentioned competition. So, of course, the whole world is progressing for the past decade or so towards AI. It's a natural evolution. We see, of course, the big guys. We see the IBM Watson, we see the Google, we see many others, we see Microsoft. The big guys definitely are there. Amazon, Alexa, and even the Amazon app today, when you purchase something on Amazon, it already incorporates AI for the past decade or so, if not even more. We don't call it advanced AI. It's more like technical. You buy a computer, the system learns about it and tells you that tomorrow, how about you buy a monitor? It's something like data recording and analysis, I would call it. But it is a form of AI, and it will get, advanced with time. Our main advantage of Avant AI system today is basically the new approach we are taking. We are taking a little bit out-of-the-box approach when we come to our Avant AI system. I believe this will be the first time that an AI system is going to be controlled a mesh application. As you know, we just now completing our initial version, first version of our mesh network system. And again, targeted to be sold or located in million locations, we will need a system, a smart system, in order to turn on, off, the unit, tell them when to go to sleep, when to wake up, in order to A, conserve battery, B, maintain full coverage. So definitely we saw the need for an AI. Avant AI is basically using out of the box, I would see all kind of neural network, but not a typical neural network, because neural network is a buzzword. Everybody using neural network, but that's great. But we have a little bit our own flavor, I would say. We develop our own what we call a recurrent neural network, which is customized, which is flavored according to our vision. And I believe this is going to be our main advantage. This neural network and other subsystems that we have within Avant, focusing on real-time performance. I'm talking about picoseconds. I'm talking about comprehensive knowledge algorithms, dynamic cognitive, that will be implemented by the year of 2020. Self-learning and adaptation. AI is probably the first one that on its free time goes and search and learn about topics that it feels that it doesn't know enough and would like to know more, exactly as a human would do. And that's why we feel that our Avant is definitely competitive, is a new player, is a new, young, fresh player in the market, definitely going to fit perfectly for applications like expert agents, the autonomous systems, mesh, of course, and, of course, military and security applications.
So in the technology review we're speaking of, you've highlighted the company's completed systems, including Avant. Can you tell listeners about upcoming systems such as the Avant Unsupervised?
Sure. Avant is targeted to be developed by stages. And we did complete stage 1, which is currently what we call a general knowledge extraction engine. The system goes, search websites, many of them analyze the content and gives you, one best answer. So you don't have to go do a massive search, go side by side, see if it's good, it's not good. The system does it for you. And that's what completed at this point. We already completed now another version, which is going to release. You're going to see again the mobile app for it. We also today, users can download the mobile app and on the Apple Store and the Google Android Store and the Google Play and iOS system, which you can activate Avant to your mobile app. It gives you a handy, I would call it a handy personal toolbox. You can open an account, so it can be only for you, and you can start ask questions, about any type of topic, and it keeps a history of your questions. So in case, you ask something, assuming you're a technician, and you ask how to replace a light bulb, 6 months ago, and you want to know again the information, you search your own question, it will find it for you, and you go on your phone now with your own handy, personal, private, secure toolbox. It can be good for technicians, can be good for students that are asking questions about homework. It can be good even for doctors that want to search for some, any type of medical information they need. And in the upcoming months, we will add the capability of training the system. That means not only the system will go and search the internet for now, it will be able to be trained. That means if you are an expert system, if you are a doctor and you want to keep your private toolbox on your phone, on your mobile device, or of course on a computer, will be the same, they are synchronized to a website, you'll be able to train. Okay, so Avant here, I just, I found, if it's a technician, for example, I found a unique solution for this, electrical engineering problem. Here is the description, and you actually talk or fill it a text, and Avant will remember it. So it becomes your own trained self-personal assistant. In the next week or so, we're going to introduce a new version which has a voice command, a voice speech recognition. Users will be able to ask Avant. Until today, Avant, you could type a question, say who is Benjamin Franklin. Today, you will be able to ask verbally, okay? You are driving, you don't have, you want to just speak. So we're going to enable speech command. We have a long-term plan for Avant for the next few years.
So can you explain the genesis of GNet, that's Gopher's private communication protocol?
Absolutely. The GNet, again, is the network that is still under development. We do have, as I said, version 1, but it will be under development for the next, I would say, by the end of the year at least. It's a complex private protocol. If you remember that we talked about the Gopher Insight microchip. Well, not only Gopher Insight, but Gopher Insight will communicate with all similar chips via the GNet. The GNet is a radio and also a software protocol that is going over conventional network. It can go over Gopher radio system. And the main advantage of that communication protocol is its high security. It has a very robust encryption that goes and varies, of course, by conditions. It can definitely start with AES 256. It can go all the way to, on top of it, we're adding our own security mechanism, which make it compatible to 1024-bit encryption. And on top of it, in certain specific situation and condition, we're going to implement another layer of security, which is the honey key encryption, which is the honey encryption you can read about online. It's another layer in order to deceive hackers in case, malicious activities is going to be acted against this protocol in order to crack it, and get some information. So we really created a protocol that is very secured, is AI controlled, is another thing that I mentioned before. The Avant will be in charge on supervising, monitoring this communication protocol. In case of a breach alert, Avant will shut down and isolate that location. And while isolate the location, it will also perform a series of activities to identify and fix the problem. If it's blocking, kick out the hacking activities, etc. But that's what's going to be. So it's dynamic, it's self-adapting, it's self-learning, and definitely one of the biggest advantages is it can handle a vast amount of data. So it's perfect for all Gopher applications as we target for the next few years.
And can you bring listeners up to speed on the company's robotics research, which is also outlined there in the technology review?
Yes, so the robotics research now, we actually found out it's going to be a long-term, quite appealing for the company direction. Because robotics covers, a wide variety of applications. One of them is autonomous driving. Autonomous car is basically a robotic car. So this is very appealing. Another one is simple, security droids or robots, just all type of mechanism, I call it, of machines, autonomous machines that can perform security, military tasks on their own. Another type of robotics can be, of course, in actually medicine. Robots today perform surgeries and other things similar like that. So there are plenty of opportunity in the and of course I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, is even the personal level. Droids that are simple going to be robots that working with us in our homes, on a daily basis. And in the future, as you see, you can send a robot to the grocery store and buy your groceries. All that far we look for. So we do invest. We started. We basically have today a robotic platform. Currently, it's a robotic that is a humanoid based, and we are basically experimenting. Of course, the geolocation without GPS, which is great. The robot can find its way according to sensors, according to radio feedback, which is very good. Also, we are targeting what we call image recognition. Using Avant algorithms, we are actually successfully achieved already some experimentations that the robot can identify a person by its actual image. It says, okay, and it identify that person and, say its name. Say, okay, hi, John, I identify you, good morning. So that's where we're progressing now. we are now actually in the process of researching how to combine and how to have Avant enable it to control motoric functionalities for the robot, i.e. move, actually walk, performing a walk of a robot. Later on, of course, it can be, translated or transformed into, assuming driving a car, of course, through the system of the car, etc. But now we are checking and researching into the motoric operation using Avant functionality. And of course, we'll go, on and on. It's a long-term project. The next task is actually have Avant embed within the robot brain, assuming the CPU and everything, and be capable of being asking a robot, same as we ask currently our Avant mobile app, which again goes to a program, and of the AI program, we want to be able to do the same with a robot. So that's how we're moving with robotics. And again, the robotics will be a long-term project for the company.
All right, Danny, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
Yes, just mention one more thing. I believe that I skipped somehow in the presentation. Also, we mentioned that we're currently running a research about the upcoming 5G system. So we do believe the 5G is the future, is going to be evolved tremendously in the next decade or so. And Gopher currently investing also in parallel enormous efforts into a research into the 5G, how to make our system. We already have all the bits and pieces for the infrastructure for the 5G, but we do plan to have Gopher 5G technology to be offered in the next few years.
And that's it for today's AI. If you would like to be a guest or sponsor for this podcast, contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded all investment involves risk and possible loss of investment. To hear more InvestorIdeas.com podcasts, please visit InvestorIdeas.com/audio. And a reminder, you can also hear our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, and Google Play Music. To learn more about Gopher, please visit gopherprotocol.com or visit the InvestorIdeas.com profile page at investorideas.com/co/GOPH. And for disclosure purposes, Gopher is a PR, news, and social media featured company on InvestorIdeas.com.